Good evening, Stonegate audience. Welcome to the second edition of the Daily Double today. So it was a really busy weekend for me, note investing wise. I was listening as much as I could to Scott Carson's virtual note buying workshop. However, I also had a lot of my own business to work on at the same time. A couple weeks ago, you might remember I talked about submitting a number of bids on some non-performing notes. So I got the replies back to those bids last week, and it was time to do some other follow-up. I'm going to get to that in just a minute. What I was really thinking about on my way home today, I was thinking about this video. It really occurred to me how your background and your skills kind of help lead to your decision making and what it is that you are trying to accomplish and what you feel comfortable trying to accomplish. And then that lends itself to your business model and really essentially what you're doing all the time. So I made a total of 16 bids, and I had 2 of them accepted, and I had 3 counter offers on them. So I was pretty happy with this. That was pretty good. So I spent time this weekend doing actual personal inspections of these properties. So this whole process this weekend really again reinforced the need for note investors to really make sure that you're doing a full amount of due diligence on all the properties that you buy. As part of that, you want to make dead certain 100% lockbox, no questions asked, that you or someone representing your company really gets eyes on every single asset. For me personally, this weekend really reinforced the value of, if at all possible, being able to conduct a personal walkthrough or inspection of the properties. In this case, I looked at a total of 4 of these. 3 of the 4 were vacant. So what that means, I was able to walk around the entire house, all 4 sides of it. I was able to go right up to the house. I was able to look in all the windows. I was able to take my phone and take some snapshots of what the inside looked like. If I had hired a realtor, there's a very good chance they just would have stayed in their car the whole time and maybe taken just a couple snapshots from the road, and I would not have gotten nearly the amount of information that I did. So that was very, very helpful. So it was a little disappointing. The 2 properties where we had our bids accepted, to put it kindly, those houses were in very poor condition. They were just in terrible shape. There was missing flooring. There was missing walls and drywall. The roofing was very, very bad, either missing in some spots or needed pretty significant structural repairs. One of the houses had visible mold. So that was disappointing. But you know what would have been more disappointing? It would have been much more disappointing if I had gone ahead and closed and paid money for those assets. So again, just doing very good due diligence should really save your bacon when you do it right. In the end, we'll see what happens, but I highly doubt that I will end up closing on those 2 assets. One of the houses was a little bit different in the fact that it was occupied. So I wasn't able, of course, to do quite the amount of inspection that I did on the other ones. This time I was much more restricted to just kind of taking some snapshots from the road, and I did get out on the sidewalk and look at it a little bit. The fact that this one was occupied does play pretty well to my, again, business model of trying to focus as much as I can on houses that are much more likely to be able to reinstate the mortgage and keep homeowners in their homes. That would be my preferred preference, but it does not mean I will not consider other things. However, on that particular asset, our initial offer was fairly well off from the counter offer, so we will have to see what happens there. The 4th house might have some potential. The 4th house was by far, it looked like, the best condition of the 4. I was able, that one was vacant. I was able to get up and look at it, and it looked in better condition. The insides were much more intact. It would probably still need like carpet and paint, but that's considered kind of a light rehab. So that one might be a really good candidate for the patented Dan Zatofsky business model of buying the asset, getting your hands on the house, renting it out, and then selling it as a loaded turnkey rental. No, for my therapy friends, it is not total knee replacement in this instance. TKR in this context stands for turnkey rental. So again, this kind of driving home this whole process this weekend, it just really reinforced to me the importance of knowing your skills and limitations. I'm not in note investing to try to start doing heavy rehabs, especially these houses were a little ways away from my house, a little more than an hour. So just even a round trip, one single round trip was going to be 2 hours. To me, that's a significant chunk of a day. In addition, I'm not exactly a handyman. I do have some skills. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. However, time is more limited to me, and my time is better spent working the actual note investing business, looking for asset managers, working with investors, talking to you fine folks, all this kind of stuff. So my goal is not to be a full-scale landlord all the time and not to try to own as many houses or doors as possible. I'm trying to earn a good return on my own money and then that of my investors. So the summary of tonight is to make sure you do good, easy for me to say, do good due diligence and know your skill set and know your limitations and use that to make good decisions and stick to your business plan. So I see we got just a couple people that are listening in tonight, Ken and Eileen and Laura. So thank you very much to those of you that are listening in. So I hope some of you others can watch. I know it's a little bit later than I normally do, but like I explained earlier, I needed to do 2 videos tonight and thought I should space it out a little bit. Okay, thank you very, very much for tuning in. And that is how you climb the hill. Thanks again and have a good night. Bye-bye.